All right, guys. So there was a big thing that happened recently in the world of finance and the world of crypto. It involves FTX, which is one of these big crypto exchanges, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Crystal. Tell everybody what the deal is with this.
Okay, so FTX, which was founded and run by a dude named Sam Bankman-Fried, which is relevant because this was a guy who was throwing his weight around in DC. He was flooding Democratic primaries in particular with money behind his chosen candidates, including, for example, Shontel Brown against Nina Turner. His firm, he has two. He had this crypto exchange, and he also had this sort of like crypto fund that would place all these investment funds that would place all these like big risky bets, okay?
Risky. And totally went belly up. And there are a lot of people, just innocent people, who have lost a lot of money because of this risk. Let's put up this headline: Washington's 32 billion crypto scam. Yes, we are calling this thing a scam. That is the headline from The Lever. And thanks to Andrew and all the other co-authors of this article. In April, when cryptocurrency guru and Democratic mega donor Sam Bankman-Fried described how crypto tokens work on a Bloomberg podcast, the host remarked that it sounded a lot like being, quote, in the Ponzi business, end quote. Bankman-Fried, founder of the FTX cryptocurrency exchange, replied that this was, quote, a pretty reasonable response, end quote, with a depressing amount of validity. Can you believe that? I mean, you're having a conversation like that and they still let this go on. But let's go ahead and keep going on this. On Friday, FTX, which previously had 16 billion in customer assets and was valued at 32 billion in its most recent investor funding round in September, filed for bankruptcy in Delaware. Bankman-Fried, 30, resigned as its CEO. You think? The collapse underscores, let's underline it, let's bold it, let's put an exclamation point on it. The collapse underscores how the 849 billion crypto industry, down by 1/5 in the last week and from a high of 3 trillion a year ago, has been protected. Let me just say that one more good time: protected by regulators who are asleep at the wheel, while hapless, ordinary investors suckered in with slick ads from prominent celebrities and athletes lose their savings. Again, this is coming from The Lever. Thank you so much. Now, as The Lever pointed out in its reporting, during a crypto gathering that included world leaders, it included athletes, it included investors, but the political world leaders such as former President Bill Clinton and former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. During that conversation with Bankman-Fried, Clinton suggested that regulators should adopt a do no harm approach to the industry. Yeah, and that statement reminded me a lot of the tenets of laissez-faire, just let alone. That type of economic programming controlled the United States during the Gilded Age in this country. This laissez-faire, just let alone, just let government don't interfere, just let the market do whatever it does. And this approach certainly hurts the poorest, most vulnerable people in this country. That's what that statement reminded me of. And Bankman-Fried was able to buy his way into the political scene with all of this slickness. Bankman-Fried began by bankrolling a super PAC called Protect Our Future that intervened in Democratic primaries, while the group's 10 million ad blitz designed to crown a virtually unknown candidate, Carrick Flynn, in an Oregon primary failed. Its other spending was highly effective. So in The Lever, they're just kind of going through some of the campaigns that Bankman-Fried helped to bankroll. Now, yours truly, I know a little bit about that because he did enter into the Ohio 11th race, helping to fund my competition. Yeah, let's go ahead and read this. Protect Our Future spent $1 million to help re-elect Shontel Brown, who was facing a competitive primary challenge from progressive, freedom-fighting, kick-ass opponent Nina Turner. I had to put some Turnerism on that. Brown has key committee assignments. She sits on both the House Agriculture Committee, which oversees the Commodities Future Trading Commission, one of the primary regulators for the crypto industry, and the Oversight Subcommittee on Economic and Consumer Policies, whose chair is investigating crypto. Now listen, folks, and leave that up. Don't leave it up. See, when we say on Unbossed or any of the other shows on TYT, we seek to explain how you can connect dots to corruption. So you understand? So he jumps into this race, he funds this race and a whole bunch of other ones across the country, even some candidates that, candidates that neoliberals are jumping up and down, and even I hate to say some so-called progressive candidates, but you see the committee that Chantel Brown is on, the very committee that would, if it was regulating the cryptocurrency industry, would do just that. I want you to feel what I'm saying today. This is how this goes down. Jessica, I'm just really shaking my head because they really, this man had a worldwide audience. He was lauded as a genius. He was brilliant in economic affairs, and boom, up in another one bites the dust. And the people who are going to hurt the most are those just everyday, regular, smaller investor types who thought they were getting in on something big. But here we are.
Yeah, that's exactly right. People who invested in crypto were sold this dream that if you invest in crypto, you can get rich really quick. You're told, oh, this is really gonna blow up. This coin is gonna be worth like 10 times as much as it is now. All that happens is very wealthy people invest in these coins. They get their value from investment. So the more people buying in leads to the coin having increased value. These are not regulated by the FDIC or any other banking regulation for that matter. And we saw with the stable coins, they're supposed to mimic the dollar and have a one-to-one trading value with the dollar because crypto is so volatile and people want to pull out their money so quickly. Crypto is not some alternative to the dollar. It's not some get-rich-quick scheme. In fact, the people that invest in crypto are the ones who end up losing money, the ones who couldn't afford to invest, because when the people who have millions pull out, the coin's value tanks, they lose their money. And stablecoin did not keep their one-to-one trading value with the dollar. So many people lost their money on this. And it's not like it was a type of situation where people weren't warning those using crypto about it, because you had Rowan Gray and Rashida Tlaib introduce the Stablecoin Act 2 years before that crash happened. And so the crypto lobby is all too powerful in Washington. That's why we're in the situation we're in now.
Yep, just go ahead and buy your politicians. That is what happens, and that's what people like Bankman-Fried do. They seek out people who are either in elected office or who are running and who will be kind to them, i.e. not want any regulations, not hold them accountable, and that's who they support. He even donated a sizable amount to the president's campaign as well. I think Crystal and Kyle summed this thing up quite nicely. Let's roll the tape.
This guy was a billionaire, and in the course of a day, now he's not only is he broke, he like owes hundreds of millions of dollars.
That's right.
Insane stories. What we're talking about here.
Total collapse. One of the greatest, most instantaneous collapses of a fortune that we've maybe seen in human history.
So it's kind of like a Ponzi scheme. It's colossal fraud. Now overnight, this guy's considered more like a Bernie Madoff character than like a genius billionaire tech bro.
Colossal fraud, and laying in the wake, just like with Bernie Madoff, a lot of folks lost a lot of money, and many of those folks could not afford to lose that money. But here we are.